everyone and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. The Sims 4 has got so many new exciting gardening features, some of them including the new Enchanted by Nature pack, some of them just totally changing her whole entire idea of a rags to riches with gardening, or just even being a green thumb or a plant sim. With the new recent update, as well as the new Enchanted by Nature pack, we have received some very exciting new features that, as I mentioned, can be used if you're trying to be a plant lover, but also can be used for a regular green thumb sim that's just trying to, try and grow some spinach or some vegetables in the back garden. Some of these plants can be introduced to a little bit of magic to help you with your gardening, but I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. That's why in today's video, I wanted to bring you some of my new favorite features of gardening, because gardening is just a very overpowered mechanism in The Sims 4, and we should all be very grateful for it. There are some amazing new features such as houseplants, the addition of Spruce Almighty, which is like a very OP patchy. We've got a new menu when we hover over plants, gnomes available for enchanting, and even an array of brand new plants with this expansion pack. So I'm going to go through a couple of these very exciting things in today's video to show you a mix of Enchanted by Nature expansion pack features, but also as well as some new base game features added into the game. Let's start off with just a very basic. So if you now get yourself a sim, but she has built herself an empire of beautiful gardening vibes. This is a beautiful little garden she's got going on here for us. So straight away, even when we're looking at her regular schmegular carrots, when you now hover over any plant that your sim is growing, you now have a slightly bit of a different menu, in the sense that obviously it still tells you exactly what this plant is, but now it tells you the status of the plant, which it shows you the water status as well as a fertilizer status. You really can control every single aspect of your plants. This really does remind me of Sims 2, where you had to speak to your plant and there was a face hovering over them. If you do have the plant lover trait and some natural living skill, you can actually talk to nature as well, which will help you with your social skill. Who really needs friends anymore if we could just have plants, right? Am I right, everybody? Also, with the plant lover trait, you can talk to your plants, such as compliment plant and photosynthesis skills, which I think is pretty adorable. The fact that you can just create friendships with these plants, I wish they kind of showed up here in your friend menu, but you can definitely do a couple of interesting things, such as naming your plant. Let's name this one the carrot dude. And I could also weirdly scold the plant. Well, let's just try and see what happens if I scold it. I don't really know what's happening. Did that change the state of it in any way? No, it didn't. So that is pretty interesting. It doesn't really do anything in particular. I thought that maybe it would kind of reduce the quality or make the quality a bit better depending on what feature you interact with, but no, it seems to just be very regular. On the topic of the natural living skill, since you can talk to plant now, you can also do things like foraging for materials. Well, not materials, but you can forage for plants, for food, for collectibles, and for apothecary ingredients if you do decide to go in that direction. But it's very handy now. Your sim can just literally randomly find plants in the middle of the ground. So yeah, you can still buy your little seed packets, but if your sim has any bit of a skill, they should be able to find some pretty interesting things, such as she found a potato, and that is actually really commonly a thing that you can find in this world of Spruceberry Grove in Enchanted by Nature. It's inspired by Ireland, so the fact that we're finding potatoes in the ground is a bit of an interesting nod to the Irish culture. But I think this pack really is going to help you with your gardening and upskilling and keeping this amazing, fabulous garden. With the natural living skill, of course, you could also sleep on the ground, or else you can meditate. Oh, you can't meditate on stones? Interesting. But you can get your sim to literally just sleep on the ground at one with nature, letting all those bugs crawl into her ears as she's asleep. This is a really handy way to live a rags to riches, or just simply live at one with nature. You can also summon a privy bush pretty much everywhere you go, which she's deciding to go over there to do it, but I think this is also a very interesting thing you can do. You can just wee anywhere, and I think that does make a lot of sense as well, and for a rags to riches, it's just a chef's kiss. Meditating in nature also really helps you kind of connect with nature, and I think it gives you a little bit of fun, but I think that's kind of all it really does give you, but it's still a pretty interesting interaction your sim can do. Also with this skill, what you can now do is once you go fishing, and when you catch yourself a regular fish, you can now also eat the fish, which I have never ever seen before, and I'm so extremely happy about that. Your sim could literally just eat raw fish now, and I think that is crazy, but it does make a lot of sense. This is such a pretty interesting feature as well when it comes to rags to riches. You can also, in the coast of Admore, go to the local fish selling little area and sell those fish for money, which I think is just an unbelievable feature of the natural natural living skill and of this pack in general. But when you thought that was it, all you can do now as well is eat yourself a frog. So you can literally find yourself these little frogs, pick them up, and essentially just gobble it down straight away like nothing ever happened. It will give your sim interesting moodlets down here at the bottom, and the higher your natural living skill, the more resistant they are to, I guess, the bad negative effects of eating raw fish and raw frogs. So be careful when doing those without a high nature skill. Going back to gardening, but kind of speaking of a little bit more of an enchanted aspect, you can now plant yourself a fairy seedling, which is a seedling that your sim can purchase through the computer or ask another fairy. Once you plant this fairy seedling, your sim will spawn Mother Nature. Instantly, as the plant is being grown onto the ground, it will spawn a beautiful little flower, which will then bring to life Mother Nature herself. Mother Nature, looking quite fabulously, is going to come along to your life, and you can pretty much just ask her to turn you into a fairy, which I think that's a pretty cool thing. You can also flirt with her, and I'm sure you can woohoo Mother Nature too, but I don't know whether she can move into your house yet, so don't quote me on that one. So once you ask for Mother Nature's charm, instantly you will get yourself a moodlet, which will allow you to become a fairy. Once my sim drinks this, she will have 24 hours to complete the next task of becoming a fairy. But this is not what this video is all about. This video is about gardening. Well, speaking of Enchanted, she's just gone like that. With Enchanted by Nature, there are actually 3 new plants that your sim can purchase in this little hut in Spruce Grove. Once your sim shops for gardening and live houseplant supplies, your sim will be able to purchase yourself the Aura Blossom seed, the Lightning Root seed, or the Moody Shrub seed. You cannot purchase the fairy seed here. Unfortunately, that is something you gotta work a little bit harder for. But this shop also gives you the ability to buy all of these fruits and vegetables, as well as your gardening books and all of the garden pots, including some of the new ones as well. Once your sim plants those 3 different plants, let's start off with the first one. This is the Moody Shrub. The Moody Shrub is an unusual plant that can project emotions into nearby sims. Sims can extract and bottle up emotion potions from the plant or feed them back to manipulate what emotion the plant projects. So as you can see down here at the bottom, we've also got the status, the fertilizer, ready to harvest, and the type of mood that this plant is projecting on us. So this plant is also enchanted, right? And I just want to really quickly tell you why it's enchanted. You can enchant plants by getting the fairy dust and enchanting them. If you've got enough fairy dust in your inventory, these are what the piles of fairy dust look like. They're magical dust of a fairy. If you've got yourself this plant, which is the Aura Blossom plant, if you click on it and say change aura, you are able to manipulate what the plant actually does and what reactions it has to your plants nearby, as well as your sim. So for instance, at the moment, I have change aura to enchantment, which means that now when this plant is placed near other plants, it will start enchanting all of them. For instance, the plants over here are not enchanted, but not for long. If I place this enchanted flower right next to these plants here, they will start becoming enchanted for 2 days, it says in brackets. Now, what does enchanted mean? Enchanted essentially is making your plants absolutely pristine, perfect, not needing to water, not needing to weed for the next 2 days, which I think is amazing. Sometimes it can get very overwhelming when you've got a massive garden of plants and trying to go through them all. It can be a little bit difficult. So the fact that we now have an Aura Blossom plant that helps you with your plants is amazing. But as I said, you can also enchant your plants with the fairy dust. Now, there is a little bit of a backstory to this, which I haven't experienced it myself yet. But if you use the fairy dust to enchant your plants, sometimes a little pixies kind of come along. I think you've got to be a fairy to experience those. And you will have to shoo them away before you can actually harvest your plant, which I'm sure we'll be able to deal with these kind of issues. You can also collect aura petals from this plant, which essentially becomes an apothecary ingredient that you can use to create other elixirs and things like that. But you can also change this plant to emit aura to just say good luck. If your sim wakes up one day and is feeling kind of unlucky, well, don't worry. All you got to do is go outside, put a little bit of fairy dust on that plant, and that will actually make you really, really lucky. And your sim will be lucky for the next, I think, day, 24 hour, whatever it is. Speaking of struggling with your gardening, well, you don't gotta look no further. If you complete one of the fables in town, you can get yourself this little stump. This little stump is called the glasswood tree. Look at this tree. What do you see? Its face. It's saying something to me. It's hard to say. What this little thing does is allows you to summon a Spruce Almighty, which is probably one of the most interesting and very suggestive things in the game. I mean, look at that dude. Look at his six-pack. I'm becoming quite close friends with Sprucey. You can also woo him, but the same with Mother Nature. I'm not sure about moving in with him just yet, but you can ask Spruce Almighty for a number of different things. Just say he can help you with your luck, he can help you with your gardening, you can ask about becoming a plant sim, and ask about gnome. But fun little fact, he's actually not a plant sim. He's something kind of in between or higher than a plant sim. So I thought that was pretty interesting too. Spruce will automatically go to the next nearest plant that does require assistance, and he will help you with weeding, watering, and whatever else that your plant may need. Which I know we've already had Patchy, but I'm sorry, we now have Sprucey. Let's move on to the last plant, which is new with Enchanted by Nature. This plant is called the lightning root. Lightning root is an electrifying presence in any environment. Known for its dynamic energy, it channels the force of nature, enabling Sims to connect the plant to the power grid and save on electricity expenses. This plant is probably one of the best things that's going to grace your screens today. If you plant this plant, click on it to say connect or disconnect from grid, you will literally get yourself a little power plant, and that is exactly what that is. I mean, who needs solar panels anymore when you've got a root, a lightning root? Once you connect it to power grid, your plant will help you to save your money on your bills, which I mean, imagine doing like a massive power plant of these. Now, these do cost around 400 simoleons if purchasing them, and you can also harvest lightning root leaves from them, which will obviously help you with your apothecary as well, as that is one of the new ingredients for apothecary. I think that this is probably one of the coolest new features that we've received with this pack, because it can really help you live off the grid and continue to fuel that like off the grid nature. Well, your sim has a little bit low hygiene. Well, hold on one second. What we can do is click on our aura blossom seed plant, and if you click change aura to majesty, your sim should get a little bit of boost of their needs, which is similar to when you create the crystals with the crystal cutting pack. This will essentially start filling up your needs ever so slightly as you're working around the garden. So imagine having all of those all around your house. Actually, I wonder, quick little trial, can I plant that in this little pot? Oh my god, I can! That's amazing! So the closer I am to this plant, the more my needs go up. Can I get any closer to it? I guess I can't really. Now that brings me on to my next point of these adorable little pots. And you may be wondering, how does that differ from the pots that we've already had? Excuse me. He's just stealing my plants over there, but we'll forgive him. It's Spruce Daddy. These little pots are houseplant pots, which is probably my absolute favorite feature in this whole entire pack. You can now put these little houseplants in your house on any surface that I guess allows you to do it, and you can interact with this plant while it is on any surface anywhere in your house. So now you can grow yourself some, I guess not all things, but you can grow like just say some grapes indoors. You don't actually have to have an outdoor garden, which I guess this would be amazing if you are living just say in an apartment and you don't have yourself a beautiful garden like this. I think that does have pretty amazing qualities, and that is probably one of my favorite little features in the game, because even as you can see over there, you can actually plant the lightning root as well in that pot, which also could allow you to save your electricity if you are again living in an apartment or in a for rent apartment. If you don't have the garden plot, if you don't have dirt on the ground, you don't have to worry anymore, because you can get yourself this little pot and plant anything you want anywhere within your house. As far as I'm aware, also, if you do have the businesses and hobbies pack installed, you can create some of those on the pottery wheel, which is just absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to try that out. But that's not all you can actually do with these. I know it's amazing that we can actually grow whatever plants, fruits, and vegetables we want in these within our homes, but these now also come with some beautiful little house plants, an array of amazing little dudes right here that I cannot live without. These are all found in the outdoor activities or else indoor plants category. All you got to do is click, find yourself the little pot that you want to fill, change it to some of these amazing swatches, and then pick yourself out an array of these 6 different plants that I'm absolutely obsessed with. We've got the Boston Fern, we've got a Monstera, Potos, which is actually my favorite one. We've got a succulent. We've also got Anthurium. Okay, I cannot pronounce any of these plant names. These are just a bit too much for me. And we've got this ficus plant. These cannot be grown directly into the ground, but these can also be grown inside these planter pots. So you can have, I guess, a massive planter of these, which I think is so exciting. These come with some beautiful different swatches. So even if you pick out one of them, you can actually change the colors of these to other shades, which I think this is going to really elevate the types of homes that we create, because now you can actually have the same plant in different shades and you can almost customize the pots and the flowers within the pot. You can also interact with these plants, which you don't necessarily have to water them, but they can get a little bit unhealthy, but you also can enchant them with the fairy dust, or I believe, can I actually enchant them by putting them next to my little aura blossom? If I put you right here, and if I set you back to enchantment using my fairy dust, is this going to enchant this plant for me? It doesn't seem to have a status update on that, but it does seem to be quite a healthy plant. But now all of these plants right here next to this one do seem to be enchanted. Oh, you see this one over here, my chrysanthemums? They are enchanted for 2 days. That's brilliant. Okay, so it does work with those potted plants too. These potted plants are honestly one of my favorite things in the game. Look at these beautiful, like almost Celtic designs that they put on some of these. You can of course just get regular black and white ones, but you can get an array of really, really pretty designs, and you can really end up creating very interesting gardens. Wait, let's talk a little bit more about the moody shrub, because this one is really where it's at. The moody shrub allows you to collect emotions in a form of a little bottle, but it also allows you to emit emotions around your sim. So you've got to have these bottled and emotion potions inside your sim's inventory to be able to change the mood that this plant is emitting. But sometimes you wake up and this plant could be giving you an angry moodlet. You can then bottle up that angry moodlet and store it in your sim's inventory, drink it obviously to get your sim to become angry, or else put it back into the plant to fuel the aura that it produces. I think these are pretty interesting because they do really alter your sim's ability to feel different emotions, which is very nice and connected, being one with nature, because obviously nature and being inspired by plants and growing your own food is a very inspiring thing, I'm sure, for a lot of people in real life. But in The Sims, with a little bit touch of like enchantment, I think this does really create for some pretty interesting gameplay, because a lot of people rely on natural remedies, natural medicines. So this is really an interesting nod to that, how your sim can have different emotions depending on which plants they're near. Oh, interesting. Okay, we've got some pixies over here. Okay, I'm glad that they appeared. These little dudes flying around my plant at the moment are little pixies. So if you wanted to harvest your orchids at the moment, you cannot, because you've got to chase the pixies away. Mischievous pixies are preventing Sandra from approaching this plant. So all your sim has got to do is chase some pixies away to be able to interact with your plant. So at the moment, she's spraying them with some biochemical hazard spray just to get rid of them. But your sim should be able to then access that plant and go and sell all for 2,250 simoleons. Jesus Christ, that is amazing. We love to see that. Okay, Spruce Almighty do really loves frequent hugs, doesn't he? Speaking of Spruce, once again, why don't we try become a plant sim? Plant sims have also gotten a beautiful overhaul in this game, which now means that there's going to be a lot more plant sims roaming around the world, and especially obviously when you do have Enchanted by Nature, you can see them just walking around everywhere, and it is pretty cute. You can of course become a plant sim in a multitude of different ways, such as getting to level 10 of the gardening skill and getting the magical stump and collecting all the beans. You can ask plant sims for forbidden fruits now and just, I guess, eat it. You can also complete the event challenge at the very beginning when you're loading into the game, or if you do require some cheating and just need the fast way out, if you've got the cheats enabled, you can just shift click and make into plant sim. But I think I'm going to eat the forbidden fruit of the plant sim and see what that does to me. Nom nom nom, off she goes. Is she gonna turn into a plant sim? No, she's not. Interestingly, that did really not do anything for my plant sim, and now she's just on the toilet stuck with nature's revenge because she's eaten harvest fruits or vegetables. That's interesting. So if you thought that that was enough help that you're also getting from Spruce Almighty over there, you can now get a little bit more help by enchanting yourself some gnomes. So if you click on bring gnome to life with fairy dust, you have all different interactions that you can get your little gnome to do. So for instance, you could get it to help you with gardening, repairs or upgrades, protecting, which I mean, I'm presuming that just means protecting from fairy dust or from burglars, and also for cleaning, which I think is really cute. So we need to give that a go. Now, I only have 2 piles of fairy dust, so you may be wondering to yourself, where do I get more fairy dust? Well, it's easiest to find fairy dust around fairies, of course. Also, fun little fact, this lot right here is a lot that I built for this official pack, so I am pretty biased, but I would like to say that is probably one of the cutest little bars you've ever seen. Okay, let's just get that out of the way and let's go. Now that I think about it, actually, we've got those little cute planter pots on windows. Imagine if we could get planter pots like that are interactable for your windows. Or else, wait now, hold on a second. I just thought of something pretty interesting. I know this video was kind of spiraling. It's meant to be giving you all the fun gardening tips, which I mean, I hope I still am. But could you imagine if we had windows that had windowsills? For instance, like just say this one. Am I allowed to put these pots up there? Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, are you kidding me? What if I do this shelf? That does not work. I mean, I know that these shelves do work because you can put these up on top of them. But could you imagine if we did something like this and created our own windowsills, and created our own little pots? I guess I could do it with cheats, or else any other small plants that usually fits on a shelf, which is not many of them, to be honest. I don't know. This is just a little spiral out of my video, but look how adorable that would look if you just put a load of little plants as a little windowsill. That is adorable. Okay, I gotta admit, I've got some ideas sometimes. Anyways, let's get back to fairy dust. To get yourself fairy dust, you pretty much have to be around fairies. Now, we are in Spruce Grove, which is also a pretty magical place. So sometimes you can find it when fairies like kind of clean themselves or brush it off. You can find it lying around on the ground. Now, at this point, we can't really find it anywhere. So let's travel. If you travel to the Everdew, which is the home of the Fairy Council, Everdew is the epicenter of fairy life where fairies can let it all hang out. This neighborhood is where you can find all of your fairy things. So if you are looking for fairy dust, checking out any of these lots and hanging out with some fairies will give you some fairy dust. For the purpose of this video, I think I will show you this. Oh, there's a fairy right here. Hey, dude. Okay, he's going right into the lounge. Is there any chance you could give me some fairy dust? If you click on a fairy after greeting with them, and if you click in more choices and then fairy and then social, you can actually ask a fairy for some fairy dust, which is a very handy way of receiving fairy dust to use for your garden or any other purpose you wish you use it for. She's like, please give me some fairy dust. I need it for my garden gnomes. And he's like, yeah, sure, no bother. Let me just pull that out of my little fairy wings. Oh my god, another fairy spawned, appeared. He has just given me one singular pile of fairy dust. Another really good way of getting fairy dust is visiting the Fairy Hub Fairy Council building in Everdew, where you will be able to collect your ration daily. This will give your sim roughly around 5 piles of fairy dust. Of course, there's a cooldown period, but you could do this every 24 hours. Okay, we've got 4 little piles of dust now, which is enough actually. Oh my god, there's another one on the floor. Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. They just drop it around the place and Bob's your uncle. You've got some fairy dust. Sometimes you can really see massive piles of it around the place, which I am pretty interested to see whether I can locate. Oh, there's another pile over here because there's a couple of fairies and a plant sim. I love to see this, honestly. It's a great little magical feeling world where you've got plant sims living in a harmony with some fairies. It's adorable. Okay, there's some right here, right above, right underneath our feet. So can I please grab that? Thank you very much. I will not say no to that. Oh, we've got 8 piles now. That's good. Oh, there's a party happening. Yes. Can you hear that? Yeah. Woo! We're dancing with the fairies. Back home, happily enough, Spruce Almighty is still helping us with our plants. Now, which one of you guys shall we enchant? Should we do the ghost one? I mean, that one looks pretty scary as it is. Or should we do one of the new cute ones? Let's do this one. I'm sorry. Plant gnome. Let's do this one. Let's enchant our little gnome and help us with some gardening. Gnomes brought to life for gardening will teleport near plants to keep things watered, weeded, and sprayed for bugs. Warning. Evil gnomes are watching this prohibitive use of fairy magic. Use with caution, lest you anger the Gnome High Council. This requires 5 dusts of fairy magic dust. So let's see what that actually does. Okay, so he's pretty happy. You can see that he's really lightly swaying and he has a beautiful little happy magic. Oh my god. Oh Lord above. Okay, it's all happening now. He is alive. He has come alive and he is a sane little gnome. Oh, there we go. He's bouncing. Oh, and he's gone. Okay, he's gone straight over here to look after these plants. As you can see, he's watered all of these. So Spruce is, you know, being pushed out of a job over there. But this is a very nice way. Oh my God. He just gave me so many. Okay. Hold on a while. I did not realize this is how many seed packets he will give me. Look at this. I know they would have normally have given you seed packets for certain events, just say Harvest Fest. But this is Harvest Fest every single day of his life. Wait, watch him. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, rags to riches idea. Get rich selling just open seed packets. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that I could get this dude, right? For, I don't know how much these cost, around 200 simoleons, or else you can actually craft them on the woodworking bench. I can get myself a gnome, enchant him with just 5 piles of fairy dust, and then literally have a house littered with seed packets. Oh, that's an idea we've got to do, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. Subscribe for more, because we're gonna do can you get rich using only gnomes and seed packets. We've got to do that. I didn't realize how fruitful this was. I've played with this feature pretty early on, but I did not realize this is how many seed packets my sim would have received. And I love the little spiral designs that the seed packets actually spawn in. I think this is pretty amazing. So this is a very overpowered way of running your garden. I think it's pretty amazing. Wait, where's he gone now? Oh God, where's he gone? Oh, he's right here. He's okay. He's right here. He's shaking. He's quaking at the gardens. What is he doing? Is he? Oh my God, there's even more. I think we need to, can we stop him now? You've literally littered my garden. Oh my God, he's disappeared again. I can't control this dude. Where is he gone? Hello? Wait, where is he gone? I can't find him. I'm scared. Is he behind me? He's over here. He's still doing something with these. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing because these seem to be watered and everything seems to be okay with them. But he's working hard and that's all we need to know. You can also talk to him, like tell secrets, tell jokes, or obviously kick him, which I mean, that's pretty rude. Wait, where is he gone? Oh, where is he? I cannot see him. Hello? Where is he gone? It's actually kind of scary when you lose him because I don't really want evil things to happen to me, but I've got to do this as a rags to riches. Absolutely. I have no idea where he's gone. Like he could literally be anywhere. He could like jump out. Wait, is that him? He's over here. He was looking at this plant. Oh my God. Wait, is he gone back to sleep again? He is. Okay, so that worked for a nice little while, but that managed to get us so many different types of seed packets that I'm actually overwhelmed with all of those. I did not realize that's how fruitful this whole thing would be. See what I did there? Fruitful. This is amazing. Dare I say, I know Spruce Boy is amazing, but look at all of these seed packets that Spruce Boy was not able to give us. I mean, there are probably so many other different features that I haven't mentioned here that we will all figure out together collectively as this pack goes on and as soon as you get your hands on, you know, playing with this new amazing sort of update. But for the moment, I would like to say that in conclusion, this is probably the best thing that is happening to gardening in The Sims. Even though there may be a couple of glitches here and there that I've already experienced, such as your Sims not being able to harvest some plants and they get stuck doing that interaction for a while. But I think even with the addition of the new potted plants or just the addition of Spruce Almighty himself, I think I can clearly say that I would like to give this feature a 10 out of 10. And look at all these beautiful, amazing enchanted forests you can do. Creating beautiful, colorful gardens and just adding a little bit of magic to your everyday game, I think is amazing. But also with the addition of 3 new plants, which totally just changed the way I've seen gardening, with the Moody Shrub, with Aura Blossom, just helping you with your needs, or even helping you with your bills with the Lightning Root plant. I would like to say that this is something just amazing that we've got it into the game. And I cannot wait to continue playing with this and figuring out more and more things about gardening. But I can fully say that your Sims don't need jobs anymore. All you gotta do is summon yourself a little gnome and look at all these packets you will receive from the gnome. Let me know if there's any other particular questions that you've got on gardening, and let me know if gardening is something that you will particularly use in your game coming up once you get your hands on this pack. I would like to say that gardening got a substantial overhaul and that we now have so many different interactions with plants, and it just makes gardening less mundane. And I always like to see new, fresher ideas from the Sims team. So with the addition of the Enchanted by Nature pack, some of these amazing new plants, Spruce Almighty, and even the addition of gnomes, I think this is just the best thing and I cannot wait to continue playing with this. Oh my God, did you just see that? That was a little fairy enchanting us with some luck. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video and it maybe taught you a little bit about the new gardening features. As I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I will answer them as best as I can. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my previous videos. Thank you so much TA for giving me early access so that I can bring you this video. Don't forget to use my creator code at checkout if you are going to purchase this pack, and thank you so much for watching, guys. I shall see you in the next video. Bye.